my sincere greetings to both Honourable Vice-Chancellors, Professor Satyakam sir and then Professor Tankeshwar sir. We are colleagues and we have different dimension of relationship because we have a common point. Professor Nageshwar Rao sir, the Honourable VC of IGNOU. He is like my senior brother. So myself and Professor Satyakam, we come from the same kind of family. Then my sincere greetings to Vikas ji, the person, the mover and shaker of this program, who has thought of, and let me tell you, as his name, Vikas means the way he has developed this dimension of organizing the book review. And by the research forum, I mean the association of this research forum, that is a commendable job. I mean it's a different kind of thought process, and I'm happy that this morning when I was discussing with Vikas, Mr. Vikas, then only I came to know that we are from the same area. I mean I belong to Bijen, a very small village in Banda Jhansi line, about 14 kilometers from Kanpur itself. And then Mr. Vikas comes from Bindiki area. So from that angle also we are from the same village. So that is another dimension. Vikas, you are doing a good job and continue doing this kind of new experiment. And these experiment, because why it is important, I'm telling you, my feeling is that when you see the recent reports coming from various quota, from various offices, that the problem in this country is not having job scarcity. Problem is that employability is the issue. That means we are producing graduates, we are producing postgraduate people, we are producing PhD holders, but somehow when we go for interview, go for selection process, then there's a problem. But these kind of activities are going to give a kind of privilege to the research forum, through which we can ginger them up and we can bring them to a different dimension where we can enhance the skill of interview, or maybe we can enhance or we can add some content in their knowledge base. And through if we do that one, then during interview we can also see the result also. So that is a very commendable job. And for that one, I wish to thank RSA, that means Research Association Forum, and then particularly, that is in general, but particularly Mr. Vikas. Then of course the chief architect of this book, I can see Honourable Sheila Rai ma'am. She's there. My greetings to her. Madam, namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah, I will be using some Hindi word also because I'm seeing some my colleagues, my friends, some of the research scholars are from southern part of the country, and then to them I will tell them that Tamil Teriyade. That means I don't know Tamil. So Tamil Teriyade, that means I will be using Hindi and English. Is that okay? Okay. So then I said that my sincere greetings to Madam Sheila. Madam Sheila, you have done a wonderful job. Actually, these are my dream projects, and I will tell you why I said so. But before I go further, the other I think there are two people who have edited this book. Hana Vikas?
Yes, sir. Professor Dhiren sir and ma'am. Yes, sir.
Then Professor Dhiren sir, I have not seen him. My greetings to him, Professor Dhiren.
No, Professor Vajpayee, he's Dhirendra Vajpayee, and he lives in America, and he's retired from the University of Iowa, और वो अपने भारत के ही हैं, उत्तराखंड के हैं, पर पिछले 50 वर्षों से वो यूएस में ही हैं और बहुत ख्यातिनाम प्रोफेसर हैं.
तो सर को मेरे तरफ से ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं, because this is a very odd time in US. So my greetings to them. But let me tell you
Sir, Honourable Tankeshwar sir has joined this session and he wishes to you, sir.
Sir, namaste. शुभकामनाएं हिंदी में. Okay, so let me tell you my interest in this book for the purpose of purpose of information that my PhD topic is also from this sustainable development. And when I chose way back in 1987, and at that time in India, this topic was very fresh, very new. Though concept of sustainable development is basically, I think Lady Eve Waffler, one of the advocate in United Kingdom, I think she fought a case for a farmer in Britain. I think that is how it has started. The way I recall, because I read all those books. Then Lady Eve Waffler is there. Then some other people are there. Then I think conventions came, and then this concept of sustainable development, when I chose as my PhD topic, then my teacher was really laughing at me that, do you think you will be able to do it? And late Professor SBL Gupta, the professor and director of Institute of Agricultural Sciences in BHU. So I went to Delhi and met the Honourable Professor Swaminathan. Sir, greetings to you.
Yes, sir.
कैसे हैं सर? नमस्ते तो कर लूं आपको?
नमस्ते जी, नमस्ते, बहुत बढ़िया है.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, can I continue now?
Yeah, please continue.
Okay, sir. I really went and saw Professor Swaminathan, and that is how I got even one engagement. He has there's an institute in southern part of the country, I think in Chennai, on sustainable development. So from there I was able to pick the model also, because he helped me. And then one Professor Chandrika Prasad. And Professor Chandrika Prasad was one time Additional Director General of ICR, and he has worked as a dean in Sokoto, Nigeria. So that is how I was able to gather all these concepts. So now coming back to the book, I mean, this is my interest area actually. First of all, for the purpose of more clarity, I feel that it is wiser for us to give chance to Professor Sheila Rai, that when she went for this particular assignment, then what was in her mind. But the way I feel that maybe I can put forward, and maybe Madam Professor Sheila ma'am can really nature. I read that book. It's a good book. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the model, the way sustainable development has been defined by these developed countries is not holding much water in the case of developing world or maybe underdeveloped country. I mean, nowadays India is fighting to be in the line of developed country. Viksit Bharat ki hum baat karte hain, we are talking about the developed nation, India as a developed nation, Bharat as a developed nation. By 2047, we are going to mark 100 years of this independence, and then Honourable PM is looking forward that why somebody else will come and brand as developing country. All the protocols which or the verticals we have in this country, they are matching the developed world. So, but this book is basically addressing the problem of developing country and developing economy, and then very nicely the beautiful energy they have poured inside that they have cracked the balance in the governance model and then solutions. So the beauty of this book, the way I feel that all these three aspects, that means definition is there, then there's some case studies are there, then governance, and then solution is there. So in the 10th chapter, to Honourable editor, those people who have edited the book, because I have the whole detail, but rather than me talking, it is better for me to give platform to the writer or maybe the person who has edited the book, so that we understand from their perspective. But when we read the book, I feel that the way I have seen that if this book is being properly used in policy framing, if this book is going to be like placed in the UN or somewhere else, then they are going to get a headway. That means a nice policy could be framed, which is, I do agree that it is going to be in deviation with the definition of developed country, but it is going to be beneficial to all of us, including India at larger level. So I feel that Madam is here, and other gentleman is not here, and maybe sometime I will find time to go through his own publications also, articles also. But I feel that the one of the aspect which in one of the chapters they have touched is also the loan aspect. Nowadays, like some of the countries, I would not like to mention the name of those countries, but some of the countries are actually behaving like a predator. They provide loan, and then when they provide loan, then somehow 25 years, 30 years, or 50 years down the line, they will mortgage your resources. I mean, though it is not a right forum for me, the way I see the war going on in some of the countries, or maybe insurgency going on in some of the countries because of the problems, local problems, and because of this loan issue. I mean, the credit given by some of the smart country, I will say, or maybe wise word I'm not using. I'm using a word smart country. So the way they are doing, I mean, they are putting their efforts to give out some credit or loan to those countries, and they are trying to mortgage their resources. That is going to create a larger problem, social problem in that country also, and also in the neighboring hood. So I believe that it is worth to mention here at this forum that having this book in your personal library or in the library itself, common library, is going to be a very beautiful idea. It will also motivate our youths. Thank you very much for giving me chance to invite and express my views. And this is a very noble cause, I mean, which was taken up by the Research Forum. And then Honourable VCs are there. My sincere greetings to them, and most humble greetings to the editor of this book. And then 4 panelists are there. I extend my sincere greetings to those 4 panelists, because they are going to discuss the chapters, and they are going to give their maybe review, and which could be published in the book, in the newspaper also. Thank you very much. Jai Arunachal, Jai Bharat. Pranam. Namaste.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your reviews. Now, I would like to invite today's guest of honor, Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. First of all, I thank the organizers for organizing this program and congratulate the author for bringing out this important topic because I feel that this is very important topic of today because if I see that there are some differences between even the two countries, I feel that they feel come together for the climate change issues like our sustainable development. So these are some issues which I see are common to everyone. So I mean everyone is for it, right? Everyone is for it. So, but we also go for at the side by side we go for globalization, and we have also seen its effects when we produce something in masses at one place. We end up with a more, I will say, more carbon emission and so on, right? So, the people are concerned about it. And we have already seen its effect. We have already seen, observing its effect. Now it may take many years, but, but it is not like that, that we are living our life only for ourselves. We also see that our children are there, then ultimately their children to children, and we are to live the life in such a way that this earth remains suitable for forever. That should be the concept. So as sir was saying that Professor Saket, it's very very timely that we have such a kind of book. And the topic is obviously interesting to everyone. Now we are just in education. We see that we have this sustainable development goals are set up, and there are 17 SDG we say, and we also as a educationist we try to correlate our curriculum and the courses to the some SDG, right? What are the SDG related to something like you have POs and COs? Outcome of the course should be somehow related to SDG. And we are just yesterday we have the ranking of India, but now they are ranking which are just depending upon how institutions are, performing on their sustainable development goals. Right, there are independent rankings available in the world, and there are many institutions in India which are participating in it. So this is, I say, is a very important topic, and everyone is concerned about it. And I could see that in the book how it will be discussed by the panelists. We are just here to congratulate you, madam, for this task, because I could see in the book that you not only just cover up the issues which are related to our, I will say to our country also. For example, you have covered up the contribution of the women, and let's say the waste management, and all these things are which are related to our country. We are concerned about it. So all these things, how we contribute, maybe our contribution to carbon emission is less than the other developed countries, but we still contribute to in terms of the, let's say, solid waste management. We pollute our rivers and we things like that. All these things has to be controlled. So and how the women can really contribute to it. And I know without women nothing can happen on this. So I believe that you have when you combine this book, and you must have seen that how as a overall this book is going to come up, and it will be, I hope that it will be quite useful to the readers as well as the policy maker, because when we say it's okay, it's good for reading, it's good for having the knowledge, and maybe then maybe we will say that it's what could be its application. That's what we look at. What could be the policy to have this world which to more sustainable and things like that. I hope your book will be quite useful and in all these things, because we as educationists, we see that it is all what is important is governance, that will also cover up in the book. And because if we make a good governance, we can contribute toward all aspects of the thing, because we have to really see that we can there is no poverty. There should be everything should be environment friendly. Everything should be available to the people, and but not only just at the cost of the something which which we cannot repair. We cannot repair. So I am really thankful to I just received a call from the one of the maybe your member, maybe Vikas, yeah, but it's really happy to know that research scholars are into this forum, and I believe that I just want to say that research is most, I will say, the serious business on this earth, right? So if you have to do the serious job, the research is the most serious than anything else, because you have to really find out the reality and truth, and then to present to the people, and it should be such that others can believe you. And if you're not doing the serious job, obviously nobody will be, believe you, and you people or the researchers will be losing their faith. So I see that researchers are playing a very important role in the development of anything, but now we see that researchers should also concentrate on this fact that whatever the research they are doing, they should also see what is the contribution of the India in this aspect, and where this will be, what sustainable goal it will be touching, so that you can pinpoint out that these sustainable goals will be met by the research they are carrying out, by the study they are carrying out, so that your contribution to this goal which is being set up is is clear. So I believe that this the panel here, discussion here, will make us more wiser, so that this effect of this book can be seen in the future. So I once again thank the organizers and congratulate the author, and I believe that this book will be useful for the people, and they will be using it for for making, maybe I will say, as I said, the further policies are the further future course of action. So these words, once again, thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite guest of honor, Professor Satyakam, sir. Please, sir.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मुझे इस महत्वपूर्ण पुस्तक पर डिस्कशन में बुलाने के लिए। मैं सभी को नमस्कार करता हूं। आदरणीय प्रोफेसर शीला राय जी, जिनकी पुस्तक पर आज हम लोग विचार विमर्श करने जा रहे हैं, आदरणीय प्रोफेसर साकेत जी, प्रोफेसर टंकेश्वर जी और सभी साथियों, यदि आप इस पुस्तक के शीर्षक पर नजर डालें तो एक बहुत बड़ा सरोकार और बहुत बड़ी चिंता नजर आती है। ग्लोबलाइजेशन एंड सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, क्वेस्ट फॉर ए न्यू पैराडाइम। यानी कि इस पुस्तक के शीर्षक से ही यह प्रतीत हो जाता है कि यह ग्लोबलाइजेशन अपने आप में निष्कंटक नहीं है, इसके रास्ते में बहुत कांटे हैं और ये सबसे ज्यादा बाधित करता है सतत विकास को, और इसी की चिंता इस पुस्तक में है। जैसा कि सभी स्पीकर्स ने इस बात को संकेतित किया कि इसमें महिलाओं के सरोकारों की भी, इसमें गरीबी की भी चर्चा है, इसमें गवर्नेंस की भी चिंता है, चिंता है, और लगातार हो रहे क्लाइमेट चेंज, गवर्नेंस, सबकी चिंता है। हम सब जानते हैं कि ये जो ग्लोबलाइजेशन है, वो ग्लोबलाइजेशन हमारे वसुधैव कुटुंबकम से बहुत अलग, वो उससे हमारा वसुधैव कुटुंबकम बहुत आगे बढ़ा हुआ है। इसमें ग्लोबलाइजेशन में वो भावना नहीं है। ग्लोबलाइजेशन में है कि, और उसकी वो सारी चिंताएं इसमें व्यक्त हैं, जो विकसित राष्ट्र हैं तथाकथित, वो विकसित राष्ट्र इस ग्लोबलाइजेशन को किस प्रकार एक्सप्लॉइट करते हैं अपने लक्ष्य के लिए। और जब भारत जैसा देश जब विकसित होने की परिकल्पना को सामने रखता है तो विरोध करते हैं। आप कार्बन उत्सर्जन करेंगे, आप कचरा फैलाएंगे, आप महिलाओं के अधिकारों की उपेक्षा करेंगे, दलितों के अधिकारों की उपेक्षा करेंगे, आदि आदि। तो ये जो कंसर्न है, मैंने पूरी किताब नहीं पढ़ी है, लेकिन मैं जो मैंने प्रेफेस को देखा है और इस पुस्तक के जो टेबल्स को मैंने देखा है, उससे मुझे ये लगता है, हम शीला जी को सुनेंगे और पैनलिस्ट को सुनेंगे तो ये बातें सामने आएंगी। निश्चित रूप से भारत एक ग्रामीण प्रधान देश है और अभी भी 60 से 70% लोग गांवों में विकास करते हैं, लेकिन डेवलपमेंट किधर हुआ? डेवलपमेंट हुआ शहरों का। मैं केवल एक उदाहरण देना चाहता हूं। अभी वृक्षारोपण का कार्यक्रम चल रहा है और हम लोग जहां जाते हैं वहां वृक्षारोपण जरूर करते हैं। मैं एक जगह वृक्षारोपण करने गया तो वहां जो वृक्ष लगाने के लिए जो गड्ढा बनाया गया था, उसके चारों तरफ कंक्रीट था। मैंने पूछा उन बंधु से कि क्यों इस पौधे की जान ले रहे हो, क्यों हत्या कर रहे हो? ये तो जैसे ही अंदर जाएगा कंक्रीट इसको घेर लेंगे, मिट्टी रहेगी नहीं और ये पौधा मर जाएगा। यानी वो जो स्थान था, जो भवन बना हुआ था, वो ऐसे ही ग्लोबलाइजेशन का प्रतीक था कि जहां इस बात की चिंता नहीं की गई कि प्रकृति का क्या होगा। हम बहुत बातें करते हैं, पेड़ नहीं कटने चाहिए, पेड़ों को लगाना चाहिए, लेकिन क्या हम विकास को सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट के साथ जोड़कर देख पाते हैं? अपने ही देश में हम लोग आसपास देख लें कि हम वृक्ष लगाने की बात करते हैं, हम लगातार वृक्ष लगाते हैं, लेकिन ऐसा क्यों है कि क्लाइमेट चेंज लगातार होता जा रहा है? हमें उस ग्लोबलाइजेशन के पीछे नहीं भागना चाहिए। भारत बहुत एक समर्थ देश है और हमें आर्थिक दृष्टि से, राजनीतिक दृष्टि से मजबूत होना है। हमारे देश के आसपास की जो परिस्थितियां होती हैं उसमें हमें सैनिक रूप से भी मजबूत होना है। लेकिन भारत का जो दर्शन है, भारत की जो परंपरा है, वो इस ग्लोबलाइजेशन के खिलाफ है। और हमें जो विकसित राष्ट्र बनना है, उसमें ग्लोबलाइजेशन के जो खतरे हैं, उन ग्लोबलाइजेशन के खतरों को भांपना है। प्रोफेसर शीला राय जी की जो किताब है, वो इसमें हमें लगातार हमें बताती रहेगी कि किस तरह से हमें अपने देश का विकास करना है। ये एक सचेतक है हमारे लिए, हमारे देश के लिए, हमारे देश के नीति निर्माताओं के लिए। इसलिए मैं सभी रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स को बधाई देता हूं कि आप इस फोरम पर आए डिस्कशन करने के लिए आपने वाइस चांसलर्स को बुलाया। अच्छा किया कि वाइस चांसलर्स को बुलाया, क्योंकि बहुत सारी बातें हैं जो वाइस चांसलर्स को जाननी चाहिए। इस तरह की किताबें पढ़नी चाहिए। मैं इस मीटिंग के बाद मैं ये किताब पूरी पढ़ूंगा और फिर पूरी किताब पढ़ने के बाद मैं अपना विशेष मंतव्य शीला राय जी को जरूर भेजूंगा। तो आप लोगों को बहुत बहुत बधाई, और खास तौर पर विकास को, जिसने इतनी मेहनत की, लोगों से संपर्क किया और उसने ये फोरम बनाया। डिस्कस होना चाहिए। वाइस चांसलर्स प्रशासनिक कार्य करते करते बिल्कुल सूखने लगते हैं। इस तरह का डिस्कशन होता है तो थोड़ा सा एकेडमिक हरियाली मिलती है तो अच्छा लगता है। तो मुझे बुलाया, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request editor of this book, Sheila Rai ma'am, please tell us about the book.
Thank you, Shubhangi. And let me begin by congratulating Vikas, because he's been doing a very, very noble service to academics. Because what pains me the most is, beyond classrooms, children are no longer interested in very serious academic discussions. And what is commendable about Vikas is, whether vice chancellors appreciate it or not, they have been compelled emotionally or academically, but they have joined us. And I'm grateful to all the three vice chancellors, Professor Kushwaha, Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, and Professor Satyakam ji, for joining us in this book discussion. And I also am thankful to you, Vikas, for selecting my book. I know you've been asking me for the book for quite some time, but since you live in Amarkantak and I'm in the desert and you are so far off from me, it was next to impossible to send you the book, because I have very few copies of it. Nonetheless, thank you so much. I'm thankful also to Kirti for giving me this opportunity to hand over the book to you. So, dear friends, let me begin by saying that this is the product of an international conference which I organized in Jaipur, being the chair of Research Committee 35, Technology and Development. That's the name of the committee. And it's of International Political Science Association. I happened to be the chair for quite a few years. Then just recently, now I'm the professor of honor there, and I'm no longer chair, I'm just the vice chair. And I was also president of Indian Society of Gandhian Studies. So I combined the two in Rajasthan University, which has been my alma mater for years and my place of service. And ICCSR have been kind to support us a little financially. And so we organized this conference, and you'll be happy to know we had participants from across the world. There were many countries, whether it was the US, whether it was Europe, Portugal, there were people from Pakistan, there were people from Nepal, there were some from China, and we had, of course, lots of them from India as well, from different states. So when we did this conference, as many of you would know, organizing a conference is challenging, but bringing out a publication is 100 times more challenging. Because once you go for a conference, you present your paper there, you come back and you're so relaxed, you don't want to again attend to that paper again. And therefore, those papers which we had in plenty, all were not in publishable format. And especially, there were many, as is the case with many conferences, many which, except for titles, there were slight differences in titles. The subject matter was also quite similar. And to bring out a publication, we sought the help of Society Publishing House, which is a Canadian publishing house. And they were more than willing when they saw our subject, and we gave them a write-up and all that. And Professor Sri Prakash Mani Tripathi and his university, he had helped us in getting this published also, because vice chancellors have their links with the publishers also. So they help us in that way. So we are thankful to all of them. But anyway, so when I was selecting the papers, and Professor Dhirendra Vajpayee, he is the cornerstone of this entire exercise. He lives in the US. He's beyond 80, he's almost 84, 85 years old. And he's still a very, very academically inclined person, most of the times reading, writing, and publishing. So he was after my life, Sheila, we have to publish this. And I said, okay. So we selected 10 papers for this volume. Although in the beginning we selected 15, eventually we had to discard 5 because despite our constant, messages to them, they were not able to update it the way we wanted it. And even the publisher was not willing to go beyond the number of pages that he gave us. So while we were choosing these papers, now this is where I come to, we wanted to have a region representation as well as theme representation. So as the previous honorable guests voiced their opinion, when we chose the themes, we also wanted to understand that when we are talking of globalization, which unfortunately, not only the winners of globalization, the losers, of course, were very, very disillusioned, but even the winners were disillusioned. We had Brexit happening, and where UK was out of the European Union, Brexit happened. Trump, the president-elect, was creating walls between US and America, where you're talking of opening your doors to the world. He was talking of creating walls, meaning to say that even those who were propagators of globalization, who said you need to, break down barriers, you need to open your doors, you need to become an inclusive world, even they were not happy with it. And they were also talking about creating barriers and creating walls. Countries were opting out. If globalization was about the whole world, European Union was a smaller version of it, of European countries getting in and forming a globe of their own. Even in that, UK, one of the leaders, opted out of that. So what we can see is this prompted us to decide that is this globalization model, which we are seeing a backlash against, is it the model that the world really wants? Isn't it something which is very, very disillusioning for the developing countries? How are the developing countries reacting to it? Meaning to say that not that developing countries did not benefit from that. Of course, there was poverty eradication to a certain extent. Of course, there was a flow of capital from one country to the other. There was also exchange of technological advancement amongst the countries, etc. But was it an equalizing kind of a concept that they had projected it to be? Was it as egalitarian as we thought globalization would be? Did it have that concept of ethical globalizing governance that we expected it to have? No. It failed on these concepts. It failed on these parameters. Therefore, are there alternative paradigms that we can think of? And if there are alternative paradigms, what can we project? सबसे आसानी से नाम आ जाता है महात्मा गांधी का alternative paradigm. I said, let me think of something else. Let us select something else. Thankfully, we had a paper from Dr. Radha Kumari, who's from the Delhi University Department of Political Science, who wrote on the Ujama model. Yeah. And that is from the African continent, where Julius Nyerere, he projected an alternative model. And in that, he is trying to contradict what Francis Fukuyama said, that it is the end of history. Meaning to say, the evolution of the entire ideologies has come to the zenith. अब सिर्फ लिबरल कैपिटलिज्म ही रहेगा एक, है ना, केवल बाजारवाद, पूंजीवादी बाजारवाद ही रहेगा, और अब बाकी सारे जो आइडियोलॉजीज है वो सब अब ये इसकी पराकाष्ठा हो गई, अब इसके बियॉन्ड कुछ है ही नहीं. That is the time that we realized that no, in 1967 itself, began from 1962 और 1967 में तांजानिया और ज़ांज़ीबार दोनों मिलकर इन लोगों ने एक अरुषा डिक्लेरेशन किया, जिसमें इन्होंने एक वैकल्पिक व्यवस्था ट्राइबल सोशलिज्म पर आधारित. अब आप ध्यान देना, ये सोशलिज्म की बात कर रहे हैं, लेकिन कहते हैं हमें सोशलिज्म सोवियत सोशलिज्म नहीं चाहिए, हमें चाइनीज सोशलिज्म नहीं चाहिए, हमें हमारे मूल समाजवाद जो हमारी वनवासी व्यवस्था का जो हमारा सोशलिज्म है, जो जनजातीय हमारी समाजवाद की अवधारणा है, उस जनजातीय समाजवाद की अवधारणा पर हमें अपने गवर्नेंस मॉडल को विकसित करने की आवश्यकता है। देखिए, तंजानिया में ये जूलियस नरारे के उस वहां के आप उसको देखेंगे, उन्होंने जो उजामा कहा वो स्वाहिली भाषा में होता है फैमिलीहुड, और वो पारिवारिक, जिसको अभी सत्यकाम जी ने कहा वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, तो वसुधैव कुटुंबकम तो हमारी भी अवधारणा है। और क्या इसके पर्याय या इसके समतुल्य और भी ऐसे समाज हैं क्या, और भी ऐसे देश हैं क्या, और भी ऐसी सभ्यताएं हैं क्या जहां इस प्रकार की अवधारणा पर आधारित व्यवस्थाओं का निरूपण करने का प्रयास किया गया। और ये पाया गया कि ये प्रयास हुआ, वो प्रयास उतना सफल नहीं हो पाया, और 1985 तक आते आते जूलियस नरारे, अब आप पुनः ध्यान दें, आप अपने पड़ोस में आज भी देख रहे हैं, मैंने सोचा था एक महिला शासक के विरुद्ध शासन के सीट पर एक महिला आसन है, और देश को आर्थिक दृष्टि से काफी प्रगतिशील बनाने का उनको खिताब भी मिला हुआ है, और ऐसी महिला को हटाने के लिए कम से कम वायलेंस का उपयोग उस रूप में नहीं होगा, लेकिन हमारी वो अवधारणा, वो जो हमारी अपेक्षा थी, वो भी धराशायी हो गई। आपने देखा आपके पड़ोसी देश बांग्लादेश में कैसा हो रहा है, और वहां से किस प्रकार से वहां की शेख हसीना जी को वहां से पलायन करना पड़ा, उनको रिफ्यूज लेना पड़ा। लेकिन ये जूलियस नरारे, इन्होंने एक उदाहरण प्रस्तुत किया कि उन्होंने स्वतः सत्ता का परित्याग किया, वहां कोई क्रांति नहीं करनी पड़ी, अपनी कुछ विफलताओं को स्वीकार किया, और उन्होंने ये भी संभावनाएं व्यक्त की कि जिस अवधारणा को लेकर वो चले थे, संभवतः उसको और परिष्कृत करने की आवश्यकता है, और समयानुकूल उसमें कुछ संशोधन लाने की भी आवश्यकता है। तो कहने का तात्पर्य कि we talked of in this book, we selected, we could have chosen straight away Mahatma Gandhi's model of Gram Swaraj. That was implicit there. But we chose another model, a paper which projected that model. Similarly, we also decided that we shall have something from our neighboring Pakistan as well. We are grateful to Sir Faraz Nawaz that he gave us this, Malik, who sent us this paper with his scholar. They are from public policy. How in their country, through integration of technology, they have been able to bring about a better system of governance to mitigate the hazards of environment challenges, also to alleviate the kind of poverty that is has been prevalent in Pakistan, and also to ameliorate the very should I say very causes of concern for the public in Pakistan and elsewhere, especially in the context of education. What we see that we do the ASER evaluations that we do, we make fun of our own evaluations, that how in the public domain we see that children, despite 100% or 99% primary education enrollment, many children are still not going to school, and those who are going there also, despite midday meal and everything, we see that even students of 5th and 6th and 7th are not able to read properly and do mathematics of 3rd and 4th and 2nd standard. Dear friends, this does not prevail only in India. Even if you read that paper on Pakistan, there also these harsh realities have been pointed out as to how even in that country, because this is our neighboring country, which was erstwhile part, it was part of erstwhile India, Bharat, which is now a different country. There also they have realized that it has not been hunky-dory throughout, and they have still a long way to go, and how integration of technology will help them to increase their governance model, to address the issues pertaining to development, and to also combat the challenges which they are facing regarding environment, regarding climate change, regarding food, regarding agriculture, health, etc., etc. Similarly, there is a paper by Snehil Kakkar, who talks of how gender has to be kept in focus. We cannot be gender blind when we are talking of environmental challenges. And especially when it comes to the hazards that we face, there we see that how women, whether it was the tsunami in Asia or whether it was the hurricane in the other Western countries, we have seen that women have been at the receiving brunt more than the men. But especially in tsunami, she highlights that it was even worse because the cultural aspect has an influence on it. हमारे यहाँ महिलाओं को पेड़ों पे चढ़ना, तैरने की वो काबिलियत उतनी नहीं प्रदान की जाती है. इस कारण जब इस प्रकार की आपदा आती है तो महिलाएं उतनी सक्षम नहीं होती हैं इन आपदाओं का सामना करने. इसलिए when you see that when it comes to gender, we have to distinguish between women in development, gender and development. How gender can play an important role. Women should not only be seen as victims, women can be seen as catalysts of change. And for that, if you empower the women, then alone you will be able to help. And if women are empowered, how they can bring about a change. Now, very interestingly, there is another paper by Paul Warby, and in that paper, he has tried to study the Indian context and Latin American context, जिसमें उन्होंने देखा कि जो महिलाओं का अगर रिजर्वेशन करके और अधिक संख्या में महिलाएं एमपीज होती हैं, तो महिला केंद्रित विषयों पर उनका ध्यान ज्यादा जाता है. अतः महिलाओं की संख्या संसदों में, विधायिकाओं में उनका बढ़ाना बहुत आवश्यक है अगर हम सही मायने में महिलाओं को सशक्त करना चाहते हैं. But even he realizes that the women who have gone to parliament, despite all their effort, it has been observed that they have not focused entirely on women related issues, because वहां तो tussle it is with an everyday politics में बहुत सारे ऐसे विषय होते हैं जो केवल महिला केंद्रित नहीं होती है. तो इसलिए ये देखा गया कि वो बहुत, अगर हम ये सोचें कि बहुत अंतर आ जाता है उससे, ऐसा बहुत बड़ा अंतर नहीं आता, लेकिन स्वाभाविक रूप से महिलाएं जब किसी विषय को लेती हैं तो वो और गंभीरता से और उसको अपने निर्णायक अंत तक पहुंचाने की कोशिश करती हैं. Now here comes another point which is again today very relevant. आपने देखा who has become the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Muhammad Yunus. And we have a paper, selected a paper of Muhammad Yunus on microfinance, where he has, and his popularity is also because of this project of his microfinance, where he has been targeting women for that they should be given microfinance, and so that ये जो लोन शाफ्ट हैं उनसे बचा जाए और फॉरेन डेट से भी बचा जाए. क्या देश के अंदर आप ऐसी व्यवस्थाएं निर्मित कर सकते हैं जिसमें महिलाओं को सशक्त किया जा सकता है? महिलाएं अगर लोन लेती हैं और उसका विनियोग करना हो तो विनियोग भी वो स्वास्थ्य संबंधी विषयों में, बच्चों की पढ़ाई संबंधी विषयों में, गृहस्थी के और सकारात्मक विषयों में बहुत सोच समझ कर करती हैं. और लोन रिपेमेंट करने में भी वो जितनी संवेदनशील होती हैं, ये मैं आपको बाकायदा डेटा बता रही हूँ, डॉक्यूमेंटेड डेटा है जो बता रहा है कि महिलाएं इस मामले में अधिक संवेदनशील, अधिक अकाउंटेबल और अधिक उत्तरदायी होती हैं. इसलिए एंड इफ यू एम्पावर द वुमेन, these women will empower the society. It is जिसको हम कहते हैं ना, catalyst of change होती है. So same Muhammad Yunus, who had started this entire project, who got the Nobel Prize for it, that concept has also been dealt in one of the papers, and it has been seen by how this has helped in India, how it has transformed Bangladesh, but there is still a lot to be done in that, because rather than जैसे आप देख रहे हैं OBOR, वन बेल्ट वन रोड वाला पॉलिसी जो चाइना कर रहा है, जो आपने अभी श्रीलंका की दुर्दशा देखी कि फॉरेन लोन लेने से क्या स्थितियां होती हैं, इन डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज का, किस प्रकार से वो ऋणों के जाल में फंस जाते हैं और फिर उनकी दुर्दशा हो जाती है। तो इन चीजों से बचने के लिए अपने भविष्य को सुरक्षित रखना, अपनी क्षमताओं का विकास करना और अपने गंतव्य स्थल मतलब विकास ऐसा जो इंक्लूसिव हो, और जब आप समावेशी विकास के उन लक्ष्यों को प्राप्त करते हैं तभी वो डेवलपमेंट सस्टेनेबल होगा। तो ये जो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट है, ये केवल पश्चिम द्वारा प्रदत्त वो लिबरल मार्केट कैपिटलिज्म वाला जो मॉडल है वो काम नहीं करेगा। स्वाभाविक रूप से आपने देख ही लिया 91 में कैसे वो सोवियत संघ का भी बिखर गया और वो उसको तो एंड ऑफ हिस्ट्री ही बता दिया गया। लेकिन चाइना अभी भी है, चाहे वो कैपिटलिस्ट सोशलिज्म कर रहा हो, चाहे जो भी कर रहा हो, लेकिन आज की तारीख में अब ऑल्टरनेटिव पैराडाइम्स हर देश ढूंढने लगा है और भारत उन अग्रणी देशों में है जिसने अपनी आर्थिक गति भी बना रखी है और पर्यावरण के संदर्भ में हम लोगों ने पर्याप्त संवेदनशीलता प्रदर्शित किया है। और जिस प्रकार से ओडीएफ का टारगेट लेकर वर्तमान शासन प्रणाली चल रही है, जिस प्रकार से वर्तमान शासन प्रणाली महिला शिक्षा के संदर्भ में बहुत प्रयासरत है, जिस प्रकार से कार्बन फुटप्रिंट को कम करने के लिए जिन संकल्पों को लेकर देश आगे बढ़ रहा है, ये सभी विषय वैश्विक स्तर पर सराहा जा रहा है। और इसलिए भारत में जब हम अलग अलग विषयों के संदर्भ में, चाहे जेंडर का संदर्भ हो, चाहे वो माइक्रो फाइनेंस का संदर्भ हो, चाहे वो एनवायरमेंट पोल्यूशन के संदर्भ में ऑल्टरनेटिव सोर्सेज ऑफ एनर्जी, when we are focusing on alternative sources of energy, how is it that we propose to go ahead with it? See, this is just a selection of few themes which highlights how in the era of globalization we are searching for alternative paradigms. Globalization is receding as of now, what we can see. Nationalism has again taken precedence over globalization. But, and especially after COVID, remember, dear friends, this book was published before the advent of COVID. The conference was also organized before that. And COVID has very aptly declared to the world that disease knows no borders. But finances also knows no borders. But the rollback of state is not a very desirable end for the prosperity of the people of that particular country. If globalization means that few well-to-do mercantile institutions can get together, put their finance together and choose and let the states roll back, then those people who are in some way adversely affected by the impact of flow of capital from that country to another, or creation of an industry which has deleterious effects on the climate and environment, then what does the state or central governments of that particular country do? Are we as strong as we would like to be? Because you must remember that all the Washington consensus created institutions, whether it is the World Bank, whether it is the IMF, and even for that matter, the United Nations and its various organs, how helpful they can be in your time of national calamities is something to be questioned. Vikas, I think I'll have to stop here because मैंने हर पेपर को उस टाइम पर तो पढ़ा था, आपने जब इस पुस्तक की बात की, I just flipped through once more and I am even more impressed by the work that they have, that all the authors have done. I'm indeed grateful to each and every author of this book who has contributed to it. Had it not been for their authorship and for their selection of papers and themes, I'm sure this would not have come into the form that it has. So I would end by saying that I would love to listen to the comments of the panelists who are on this show. And because ever since this book was published, we had the onslaught of COVID. We did not get a chance to discuss it too much. Therefore, I cannot be aptly grateful to you for the good that you have done, that at least I get a feedback from the public as to how they have accepted or in what way they have been critical about my book. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Pradam ma'am. Aisa?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah. I, Aisa, your voice is not clear. Okay.
You're still not audible, beta.
Yes. Aisa, so Aisa, can you?
Samia Media Samia New Delhi.
Yes.
On the behalf of Indian Research Scholar Association, I extend a warm welcome to our panelists, Professor Nameirakpam Meetei, sir, Professor and Head. Am I audible, sir?
Yes. You are
Hello?
audible now. Now you are audible.
Maybe we should all switch off our
Am I
mics so
audible,
that
sir?
it doesn't echo.
Okay.
Am I
Aisa.
audible, sir?
Yes, Aisa. Please proceed, Aisa. Please.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Aisha Zamir, Research Scholar, Jamia Millia Islamia New Delhi. On the behalf of Indian Research Scholar Association, I extend a warm welcome to our panelists, Professor Nameirakpam Bijen, sir, Professor and Head of Political Science, Central University, Manipur. He has a specialization in multiculturalism, electoral politics, political theory, and Northeast studies. We feel privileged to have you here, sir, for the book discussion, Globalization and Sustainable Development, Quest for a New Paradigm, edited by Professor Sheila Rai and Thirendra Vajpayee, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Esa, and good afternoon to all. Uh, my greetings to the Honourable Vice-Chancellors, Professor Saket Kushwaha, Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, Professor Satyakam, and the President of this discussion, and the editor of the book, one of the editor of the book, Professor Sheila Rai, other panelists, research scholars, and I also would like to, thank the organizers, particularly Vikas, for giving me this opportunity. And I'm truly honored to be part of this beautiful and very meaningful discussion on a very important, book. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance of meeting Professor Sheila Rai, and looking at her book, I got to know that she must be a wonderful person, not only an academician. And my congratulations also goes to her. And actually, we are all fortunate to have this kind of books, and hopefully this book will be read very widely, and certainly I will recommend all my scholars and students to at least have a look and read the book, in fact, so that they can learn a lot from this book. Unfortunately, as I told, because I have a flight to case at 5 p.m. today, so I won't be giving much time. And in fact, it's quite an injustice to the book of this kind, this much importance. We need to discuss, we need to in fact spread the news, the ideas which is given in the book widely. But unfortunately, as I said, I have a little bit of limited time, so I will just concentrate on the book. uh, I hope the other panelists will do the justice. Uh, in fact, the book is quite interesting. It's interesting because it discusses different issues which the humanity has been facing for quite long. Say somehow, these problems are related with, what you talk about in today's time, globalization and sustainable development. Say, for example, the poverty, the rights of women, women empowerment, development, so on and so forth. These issues in relations to the existing methods or forms of development are widely discussed, very lucidly explained in each of the chapters. And it's not only interesting, it is also very significant. The book is quite significant. That's why I actually say suggest all of you to read this book very extensively so that you can learn a lot. It's quite significant because as you know, human beings keep facing problems one after another. And there's so many problems we face, we humanities face. In order to fix these issues, human beings, particularly the academicians, the scholars, invent and reinvent methods, policy, etc. Say globalization also was one such phenomenon developed and used by people in the hope of resolving, which actually, in fact, this is suggested in the book itself. Resolving problems is suggested by many authors, particularly the editors. And actually, we also have thought that the globalization, say, will be some kind of panacea of all human needs. However, changing political and economic dynamics of modern world has put a question mark on the effectiveness of globalizations and the current or existing mode of development. Now, this is very lucidly, highlighted in the book. Not only say talking about globalizations and other, aspect of this, existing model of, development. The book also, highlighted the necessary or the need to reinvent ideas of development, a kind of new paradigm of development and human progress. So it is in this context, the book comes out very well, explain lucidly all the aspects of development, including sustainable development, so on and so forth. So I congratulate Professor Sheila Rai. Actually, I have to say this again because my flight timing is so close, so I have to leave. But only thing is that I hope all the panelists will do the justice, and hope I will take part in the next. If there is anything, any kind of discussion on the book, I will love to join that. And and very luckily, Madam has explained in her speech very detailed, about the book, the background, the purpose of the book, then the way she has collected the articles, organizations of seminars, so on and so forth. So I actually once again congratulate ma'am, and I hope this book will be read very widely, and I will suggest this book to all my scholars so that they can learn a lot from this book. Thank you a lot. Hmm.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Hmm.
Sumit, Sumit ji, are you here?
Ji sir.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I am Sumit Patial, research scholar, Central University of Himachal Pradesh. On the behalf of Indian Research Scholar Association, it is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished panelist, Dr. P. Sakthivel. He is a professor and deputy director of alumni relation in the Department of Political Science and Public Administration. With an impressive academic background, Dr. Sakthivel has dedicated 25 years to the field of political science. His specialization in Muslim politics in Tamil Nadu, legislative studies, and election study has made him a leading expert in these areas. Dr. Sakthivel has successfully supervised 5 PhD scholars and completed 2 significant research projects contributing greatly to the academic community. Please join me in welcoming Dr. P. Sakthivel to share his valuable insights with us today. Dr. Sakthivelji.
Thank you once again. I thank Indian Research Scholars Association, particularly Vikash Kumarji and Vice-Chancellors, and more important, the editor of the book, Sheila Rai Madam. So, congratulations to you for taking efforts in bringing the book. As rightly said by you, it is not so easy to organize the program, conferences, seminar, as well as collecting the papers from the contributors, put it in the format and bring it in the form of a book within the time limit. So I too also faced the same problem when I started editing the book, and I know the pain and I know the pleasure also. It is in the combination of both the pain and the pleasure. So once again, I congratulate Madam as well as Kumar, Vajpayee for your efforts in bringing the book Globalization and Sustainable Development. I'm so happy, Madam, and you covered every aspects of sustainable development, starting from globalization and development, impact of urbanization, urban development on sustainable development, and more important, I should appreciate you included a paper on the role of the women in sustainable development goal, corporate social responsibility, and one paper, interestingly, the Ujama model, I think related to the Tanzania, whether we can suggest this model as achieving sustainable development in developing countries context, water management, global governance, and more important, sustainable development linking with information communication technology. So these are all the really excellent papers. I should appreciate. The topics are really, it is a heterogeneous, and it covers every aspects of sustainable development. If at all, if it's not possible to cover the entire 17 goals of the sustainable development, most of the goals are addressed in this edited book. I'm so happy. I'm happy to share with you that right now, a couple of research scholars are doing research under my guidance, and 2 research scholars are doing on this research on sustainable development. Definitely, as said by earlier speakers, we have no hesitation to recommend the book for the research scholars, and it is going to be a knowledge serving for the scholars also. And I wanted Madam to go with editing the book or just fine-tuning such certain portions of the book by considering the points given already or points to be given by the panelists as well as the participants of the program. And definitely the book should be available both online and offline, and see that the book is reaching every libraries of Indian universities and colleges, and see that any students who are doing research on sustainable development, essentially they should include in the review of literature or in the relevant chapters that the book should be included as a reference, and it should emerge as a must reading in sustainable development. I am so happy. Then coming to the book, so though there are limitations in reading the book, since the e-copies and soft copy of the edited book is given to us, and we have sufficient time to go through the book. So, Madam, the first point I just wanted to share with you is we need to update the data in certain papers, not in all the papers. In certain papers, the data are not up to date, and some scholars, they used 2011, 2015, and 2017 data. I think we can once again request the contributors to enrich the paper, to update the paper, and in vital sections and the vital points, say for example, testing the hypothesis or empirical testing areas, they used 2017 and 2015 data, though exactly I can say that the recent data are available. So we can also request the contributors to further improve in that particular area. And second thing is, most of the articles that it has references in the end of the chapter, but some papers the references is missing, and I think we can follow certain uniform pattern of each and every articles. I think you collected, madam, 10 papers, and see that the 10 papers as a uniform model, starting with the abstract, introduction, and the body chapters, and analysis, conclusion. And another important thing is, madam, in one paper I have seen, I think I'm not exactly correct, which in one chapter, the conclusion is very big. I think the conclusion is a very vital part. So whatever you collected the data, whatever you debated, discussed, or whatever you contemplated in the paper should be given in the form of conclusion. So while reading the conclusion, the readers or the users, they must come to conclusion about the nature of the paper, why the paper has been written. I think, madam, we can also pay some attention that the conclusion of each paper should be vital, as well as should have enough data. And another important thing is, madam, we need to have a uniform pattern of a referencing model, and that referencing model should be also maintained uniformly. And another thing is, madam, the glossary we can give it in the beginning of the edited book. The glossary is missing, but I should appreciate the figures, the tables, and everything is given. And the glossary we can give it to madam. And next thing I just wanted to share with you is whether author index or subject index. I think we can further improve, madam. So minimum the index and the details are given in the end of the book, madam. I think we can also enrich this area, and we can also pay certain attention. And another important thing I just wanted to mention is, since the papers are highly relevant, so see that empirical data, for example, any Indian best examples, Indian best models in achieving the sustainable development goals or marching towards achieving the sustainable development goals. So these things, if it is possible, then and there and whenever it's possible, we can also request the paper contributors to include those areas also. As an editor of the book, you have the freedom and you have every right to suggest the young scholars. Not all the 10 scholars are very senior professors, and if the young scholars, definitely we can also suggest the scholars to, or you can identify the areas where they can further improve the quality of the paper also, madam. And another thing I just wanted to share with you, madam, I think one article title I have seen, maybe chapter 3, I think, or the third article, do women in government champion development friendly regulations, madam? So such kind of newspaper type of titles, or these kind of titles can be remodified by addressing to the research question or addressing to the research problem. So we can also just modify the title, and we can bring it into the volume also. And I think so these are all some of the observation, and it doesn't mean that the quality is not compromised. The qualities are available, but only thing is certain areas, the important areas where we can work. I already suggested the references, updating the articles, redefining the titles of the article, and the more important, the conclusion of each article is very, very important. And I think at the end of the book, madam, you can have a integrated analysis chapter also. You can write as an integrated analysis, means from each paper, what are the key points emerged, what are the key conclusions emerged. So everything can be analyzed in the end of the book, and that can be given to the readers. So see that, madam, the book is rocking in both online and offline world. And I hope that the books will be referred, books will be widely used by the research scholars who are doing research on sustainable development goal. So I appreciate once again for your efforts in getting the articles, editing the articles, and bringing in the form of a book. So thank you once again, the Indian Research Scholars Association, particularly Vikashji, and for inviting me to participate in this panel discussion. I think I may be permitted because I have my evening class by 5 o'clock. I have to address to the agriculture students by 5 o'clock regarding the Indian Constitution. There is a common paper is available. So the timetable is scheduled for 5 o'clock. So I may be permitted to leave the forum hall. So thank you once again, and I appreciate Madam for your sincere efforts and bringing the volume. Thank you for your patient listening. Hope you will take it everything optimistically. And we wanted, and we are here to enrich the quality of your paper and edited book. So that is the real intention. Thank you, one and all. Nandri Vanakkam.
Just before you leave, Professor,
thank you, sir.
I just wanted to tell you that this conference was organized in April 2017, and it had gone to the publisher by 2019, and then we did the list of, how publishers also take, and then because of the corona, COVID-19, but you gave some positive suggestions. But whenever we read a book, we don't expect all the data to be encompassed in one book itself. We have to keep updating our data for that, getting back to these authors and asking them to then update it. Now they can build this is the utility of a book. If you read a book, whatever you have there, then you build upon that data with relevant data from outside. But yes, and that title that you were suggesting, we also had suggested, can you change it? But it was there were a couple from US who said, no, we have submitted our paper under this title. We want it to be published under this title itself. So so you have to respect the liberty of the author also at times. But thank you very much. Those were positive inputs that you made. Thank you very
much. Thank you, madam. Asuniji?
Yes, Vikasji. Yes. A very good afternoon, everyone. And also a special good afternoon to Sheila Rai ma'am. Thank you very much to providing us the opportunity to organize this kind of discussion. I am Ashwini Kumar. I'm a PhD scholar in Department of Economics, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University. Here
Your voice has gone, Ashwini ji.
Hello.
Yes, now. Yes, Ashwini ji, yes.
Okay, so I welcome Professor A. Muthulakshmi. Ma'am is a professor in Department of Public Administration, School of Social Science, Central University, Mizoram. Madam has the interest area of environmental administration in India and social administration in India and public policy. She has done her PhD from University of Madurai, and she has more than 15 years of teaching experience. And here we would have the opinion that she has gained from the book. And I welcome you, ma'am. Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to discuss on this book, Globalization and Sustainable Development Goals, a push for new paradigm. So very good evening to Professor Saket, Kushwaha, Honourable Vice-Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi University, and then very good evening to Professor Tankeshwar, Honourable Vice-Chancellor, Central University of Haryana, and good evening to Professor Satyakam, Honourable Vice-Chancellor, and Professor Sheila Rai, President, Department of Political Science, University of Rajasthan, and she is also one of the editors of this book. And also very good evening to all the panelists, and special good evening to Professor Sakthivel. Just now he left, but it is my privilege to say good evening to Professor Sakthivel, because he was my teacher during my MPhil the year 2001 in Annamalai University. And also I welcome Kumar for organizing this program in such a very good manner, and very kindly approached me to accept his request, and he is doing very good job. And also I will good evening to all conveners, co-conveners, secretaries, and members, and dear participants First of all, I would like to thank the organizing team, coordinator and co-coordinators, conveners, and then secretaries and members. So thank you so much for inviting me to interact with you all on this occasion through online platform. So today I'm here with you all on this occasion to discuss on globalization and sustainable development push for new paradigm, edited by Madam Sheila Roy and Dhirendra Vajpayee, and this book published in the Society Publishing in the year 2021, and it include the total pages 183 pages plus preface, contributors, introduction, and index with ISBN number. And I have gone through the entire book, and I find it very useful and important. The whole book covers 10 papers from different themes, and the all 10 papers covers the main theme of this international conference organized by the International Political Science Association in collaboration with Indian Society of Gandhian Studies, University of Rajasthan, Jaipur. So regarding the authors, all eminent persons at India and abroad are part of this book. And this book talks about globalization and its mixed effects, both negative and positive aspects of development. And then we all know about the globalization, and the previous panelists and even Vice-Chancellors also talking about the globalization and its effects, and then what are the positive points and negative points. So I'm not going to repeat it again, but I have some different observations and views that I would like to discuss here. So this book also talks about models from different countries, like African Tanzania model and China model and Indian model. So accordingly, differently challenges, issues, problems they have discussed in almost all the papers, and so far as development concerns. And this book has tried to attempt to search for new models or alternative model to overcome all these issues, problems, and challenges. So therefore, these various contributors or authors try to give their perspectives in this direction. Since I'm the one of the panelists, I would like to discuss 1, 2, 3 topics and to give the overall observations. So initially, I was thinking that to review the whole book, but yesterday I called Vikas Kumar, how much time you are going to give for us for each panelist. So he told, Madam, only 10 minutes. Then I decided, okay, let us go for covering 3 to 4 topics. So then accordingly, I prepared. So, and then I find there are 10 papers. It covers all different themes. And out of 10 papers, I found 4 or 5 papers on my specialization. And my PhD is on solid waste management in Madurai. And also I did my ICCSR project on solid waste management in Aizawl city, Mizoram. And now currently one of my international scholars doing PhD on this same topic from South Africa. He has come from Namibia and is doing now. And then let me discuss with one by one paper. The first paper is, I have chosen one by one, that the paper is impact of urban development on environment. This paper written by B. Shekhwat and A.K. Gupta. He mainly focuses the impact of increasing urban sprawl in major cities. Then according to this author, increasing urbanization causes of the creation of heat islands, leading to poor air quality, degrading water resources and polluting land resources. So then the rapid urbanization poses a severe challenge in the area of creation of more infrastructure and the services. So this ever-widening gap affects the lives of citizens, especially the marginalized communities. So the author rightly feels that there is a need to mitigate these severe environmental problems to gain the more sustainable urban development, and it warrants a multi-disciplinary holistic approach and the active participation of all stakeholders. So he highlighted in this paper all these aspects, and it was very interesting paper. And then I learned so many, though this environment related and all related to my specialization, I have learned many things from this paper. Thank you so much for the contributor. And then I'm coming to the paper 2, Sustainable Human Development, Poverty Reduction and the Elimination of Inequality, written by Suman Maurya. This paper also makes out the necessity of good governance for safeguarding human rights. In this paper, the author also feels that good governance and human rights both have common attributes like participation, equality, transparency, and responsibility and dignity. So she discusses in detail about all these attributes, characteristics, and many other elements of good governance which ensure equitable and sustainable development, besides contributing the protection of human rights. So this paper also is very interesting paper and is very informative, and this is a lengthy paper. It discusses about in detail about human sustainable human development, poverty reduction, and elimination of inequality. And then I'm coming to the third paper, Women as Change Agents of Sustainable Development in South Asia, written by Snehal Hacker. He talks about the impact of climate change on women in South Asia. The condition of women has been worsening because of the disasters, whether natural or man-made. So the author also discussed the impact of climate change on women in many South Asian nations, including China and India. And the author also highlights the crucial role women are playing in bringing societal changes and sustenance thereon. And then the author also enriches her study by discussing several case studies which are discussed in detail in this paper. And he also presents the alternative discourse on the importance of women in sustainable development and protecting human rights. And finally, he also highlighted the importance of women as change agents should be recognized in the area of academia as well as the environmental policy making process. So we have so many examples of how women are playing important role in the fields of environmental protection and conservation. So let me say with one example here in Mizoram, especially women, they are very good in rainwater harvesting. So but their role has not been recognized as they deserve, as they can. So you see, globally, 50% of the women are representing constitutes, but they are involved in all aspects of development, whether it is cultural, social, political, or economic, but they are not recognized fully. So this paper, the author highlighted that women's role in governance enhances good governance for sustainable environment globally. And then the another paper on waste management, since it is my PhD topic, I find it is very interesting paper, and the author given data globally and even in Indian context also, and I got many informations in this paper. And this paper is written by M. Sarma. He critically analyzes the role of failing municipal authorities in providing adequate and efficient services of waste management in cities. So this is not in the scenario of India, but also globally they are facing problem in proper waste management. This paper also deals with the sustainable waste management with a focus on expanded waste management hierarchy and extracting value from the waste. Finally, it emphasizes on minimization of waste and initiating community-based waste management. seems to be the only way for sustainable way to manage their waste. And then I would like to say some few words about the book and all. I when the Vikas Kumar he sent it to my WhatsApp group, then immediately I told my student to get it xerox it. So I read all the books. The quality of the paper and all is very good. Even we are in the university campus, we discussed with other professors. Professor K.V. Reddy from Department of Political Science. He also commented and he has given some points also, which was very interesting. And he communicated to me to say some points at this discussion, and which was very interesting. And madam, there are some, I don't have any comments for improvement and all. This book has a quality, no doubt about it. And then you have chosen all these papers from the globally, from different dimensions. You discuss about Pakistan, Bangladesh, China model, then Africa. So I find it is very interesting. And I have personally, I learned so many things from this paper. And what Professor, one of the vice-chancellors told me that nowadays we all of us reading habits are very less, and people be going to the library, sitting in the library. That culture has gone. So even in Mizoram, after all students will go by 3 o'clock bus. So after 3, the library will be empty. No one will sit in the library. Books are in the rack. So they don't read, and reading habits among the students, even among teachers also, has been reduced so much due to the social media and other mode of technology. Just I can say after the corona impact, after the corona. So when I know even myself, I don't read that whole book within 1 or 2, 3 days. So I know that I'm telling the fact also. So mostly, what sir told, everything is there in the phone. So immediately, no need to study, critical way. Ready-made material are no there in the mobile or in the desktop or in other technology. But getting a hard copy book like this, I find it so interesting. For me, it is so special book. And even yesterday, I told to my students when I was taking class. So I have taken 2, 3 examples from this book, and I discussed with my students when I was discussing public policy and environmental administration. So this book is very, very useful, and it's so important. Teachers like from Department of Public Administration and the teachers from political science. It is very, very useful, ma'am. I'm so happy for reading this book, and I am so happy for inviting me to discuss on this book, Globalization and Sustainable Development Goals, a course for new paradigm. And one more thing also I would like to highlight that I did not find, or if you go for further review, just 1 or 2 line if you include, or if you discuss with the scholars, it will be very nice. That before 2014 we used to talk about Millennium Development Goals and all. So from 2015 onwards, we are talking about Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 goals, 64 targets and all. So if you discuss or among the students or among the scholars, what are the difference between the Millennium Development Goals and to the Sustainable Development Goals? So there are the 4, 5 aspects are there. Let me say that one shift from Millennium Development Goals to Sustainable Development Goals is from quantitative to qualitative, and then cross domain, and then cross border, then social enterprises. So like that, if the scholars study or they do research on this aspect, it will be very, very useful. And moreover, this book is very useful for coming up or the new scholars. So with this, I wish all the best for Madam to come up with a book like this. And I think this book is very, very useful to all the students, to all the research scholars, those who are doing research on especially sustainable development goals. So with this, I will say thank you once and again to each and everyone, especially Vikas Kumar for organizing, for inviting me to talk about this book. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you each and everyone. Yeah.
So, Madam, just let me make one comment.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
This opinion of mine that if you give a woman some task, she will do it with all sincerity. You have proved it absolutely right. Thank you so much. Your comment for you actually read those articles and you read the book to the best of your abilities and you made the right kind of comments.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so due to some reason, Dr. Aslam is not present here. Now we will be take some questions of the participants. So only be 2-3 questions we will be take. So you can ask to the author of the book. I think I would like to request to Madam and also to the Lakshmi Madam. Both will be address the questions. So if anyone want to ask, so now session is open. You can ask directly to ma'am with your introduction. Thank you.
Can I ask some questions, sir?
Yes, yes.
Uh, uh, Professor Sheila, ma'am, as we have sustainable development goals, and we all know that goal number 4 is related to quality education. So, kindly give your valuable suggestions to our research scholar. Na, that I am also a research scholar. So, that how we can relate with this book and how we can use these valuable in our research work.
So you are Aisha, are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's a good question, Aisha. In fact, there is one paper, the authors are from Pakistan, and they've talked largely about how integration of ICT can help in achieving the sustainable goal number 4. And not only that, even health. See, there has been you can hear अभी ना सब तरफ से चर्चा हो रही है कि we are all the time glued to our mobile phones and laptops and what. देखो बुक्स उस पे भी उपलब्ध है, जरूरी नहीं है कि हम जैसे ट्रेडिशनल लोग, we are those traditional people who like the smell of paper, who have been for a long time, we have the habit of only reading from books. So it is difficult for us to read so much from the laptop and from the screen. But I can see that nowadays people are not relying only on the hard copies, they are also relying on soft copies, and reading is still there. Not in the manner that we used to do it probably, but again, it is so variegated. So teaching this sustainable development goal will help research scholars. One, you have to improve your reading habits in the sense, don't get distracted. एक ही drawback है screen पे पढ़ने में. You have those pop-ups which keep coming in, and while you're reading a book, you get so distracted, you go away onto that, and then you start going into and you forget your book over there. But you should use your information technology for actually getting the kind of, you all are so lucky. We never had this vista of information before us the way you people have it. I wish I was born 10 or 15 years later. Maybe I would have gained so much more knowledge, but nonetheless, this information, integrating ICT into education has helped. And what better proof do we need than what happened during COVID? Had it not been for ICT, how would our online classes have happened? How there would have been a complete disruption in the education system. And because of this, just imagine I'm sitting where and you are sitting where, and where is Vikas and where is Madam Muthulakshmi? She's in the north.
Yeah.
And from there we are conversing with each other. So we have to make the optimal utilization of these technologies to acquire. For example, in disaster management. Earlier, if a natural disaster would also happen, leave alone terrorist wale disasters. These natural disasters also providing relief was such a challenge. You had to actually go there to see what is the status. Now, because of ICT, you have those tools and technologies through which you are able to gauge the kind of disaster that has happened, which are the areas that you can provide relief. You can also do a surveillance. Not only that, you are seeing nowadays how, whether it is a hurricane, whether it is a storm, whether it is a cyclone, whatever it is, we are getting beforehand knowledge. We are taking precautionary steps to avert these dangers. Even because of, therefore, this technology is a blessing. We have to learn how to utilize it. जैसे मैं उदाहरण अपनी क्लास में देती हूँ, चाकू फल काटने के काम भी आता है, चाकू हत्या करने के काम भी आता है. आवश्यकता है चाकू के सदुपयोग करने का प्रशिक्षण प्राप्त करना. चाकू के सदुपयोग के लिए आत्म संयम प्राप्त करना. You have to learn to use the knife properly for the proper utility. And अगर आपने वो नहीं सीखा तो फिर तो उसका दुरुपयोग होगा. ऐसे ही technology can be used. It is a double-edged sword. It can be used for good purposes, and also misuse of that can also lead to all kinds of scams that you are witnessing there. Now, about sustainable, the fourth number sustainable development goal, we have to see, just gaining information is not necessary. Information, when translated into action, and when it percolates just not your mind but your inner being also, it transforms your life, then it is knowledge. When it is translated into practice, then it is knowledge. And therefore, आज मैं कहूँ, बहुत प्लेटो का ही कथन है कि सदैव सत्य बोलना न्याय है. तो वो कहते हैं कि इसका इंफॉर्मेशन हो सकता है ये, लेकिन जो व्यक्ति वास्तव में सदैव सत्य बोलता है, वो उस प्रकार के सत्य का ज्ञान है. उसको ज्ञान होना और सूचना होना, इन दोनों में अंतर होता है. जब वो आपके कार्यों में परिणत हो जाए, जब आपके व्यवहार में परिलक्षित होने लग जाए, तब वो ज्ञान है. Therefore, what we are reading and how we are reading, is it only for employability? No. But employment is important. भूखे पेट भजन नहीं होता है. Therefore, this sustainable goal can be actually achieved केवल आपके अकेले पढ़ने से नहीं. What you are acquiring, how are you helping others with that? Unless and until we make it inclusive, unless and until we raise our parameters and standards higher, unless and until we make that education meaningful, how are you changing your own life, the lives of your family, the lives of people around you, the environment around you, and at the last, if you're considering the entire world to be your own family, what is the positive change you are bringing about there? Therefore, one good thing that the Research Scholars Association is doing is that you have begun these discussions. पूरी बात ना भी समझ में आए, आधी बात भी समझ में आ रही है, कुछ तो सार्थक हो रहा है यहाँ. तो इसलिए ये जो अचीवमेंट सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स हैं, वो शिक्षा जो सतत हो, वो शिक्षा जो सदुपयोगी हो, वो शिक्षा जो कल्याणकारी हो, वो शिक्षा जो युगांतकारी हो, वो सही मायने में सही शिक्षा होती है, सही ज्ञानार्जन होता है. उसको हम करें जो समाज में परिवर्तन लाए, जो राजनीति में परिवर्तन लाए, जो पूरे कॉस्मोस में परिवर्तन ला सके, तब हम कहेंगे. इट मे साउंड वेरी लॉफ्टी, बट दिस इज व्हाट एक्चुअल नॉलेज डज. And therefore, we all have to work for it. But yes, as research scholars, please be very conscious of what you are doing. And when you are learning yourself, it is not, you don't think of yourself as alone. हम व्यक्तिवादी समाज के सदस्य नहीं हैं. हम सामूहिकता में विश्वास करते हैं और वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की अवधारणा में विश्वास करते हैं. इसलिए you have to think of knowledge on a larger perspective. Yes, you can. If you are satisfied with it, you want some more, you want to ask something else, supplement your question, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Anyone want to ask? Otherwise, two questions two participants have written your
I
question
can
in the
see
comment box.
Ihsan Ullah has raised his hand.
Isan Ullah, he's from the Afghanistan. If yes, Isanji, if you are able to ask the question, so you can ask. I think there is some network issues, so no problem. Anyone want to ask? Otherwise, two questions we have. So, madam, one question is from the yes, Isanullah.
Sakshi is also asking a question.
Yeah.
Uh, Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Sakshi.
Myself Sakshi Singh from Faculty of Education, BHU. And I want to ask a question like, ma'am, how ancient Indian knowledge uh, help in a globalization, and what are the ways for the which Indian ancient and traditional knowledge can play for the sustainable goals?
So, Sakshi, you asked a very, very relevant question. I think India has a lot to contribute through our ancient knowledge. What we say, what Gandhi said about the Ishopanishad, he said, nature has enough to contribute to fulfill every man's need across the world. But it does not have enough to fulfill the greed of even one person, meaning greed is limited. आपके लालच का तो अंत ही नहीं है ना. Therefore, और जो भी उपभोग करो त्याग पूर्वक उपभोग करो. मेरे को ये जो उजामा का जो मॉडल पर जो काम एक पेपर लिखा गया है उसमें तंजानिया के उस पे उजामा मॉडल पे जो उन्होंने जूलियस नारायरे ने लिखा, वेरी नाइस स्टेटमेंट ही हैज गिवन. ही सेड हमारे ट्राइबल कल्चर में क्या है, हम कहते हैं ना अतिथि देवो भव, है ना. तो हमारे यहाँ तो अतिथि आते हैं तो उनको इतना ना देवता के रूप में हम ट्रीट करते हैं कि उनको खिलाते पिलाते रहते हैं. वैसे तो अतिथि अगर देव का रूप है तो उसको खुद ही सतर्क होके थोड़े दिन बाद वो देवतुल्य व्यवहार भी करे कि हम पर बोझ ना बने, है ना. वो कहते हैं जूलियस नेरेरे, उनके यहाँ क्या था फिलॉसफी, 2 दिन गेस्ट रहेंगे सत्कार होगा, तीसरे दिन उनको कुदाल पकड़ा दो, क्योंकि उनके लिए भी आत्मसम्मान के लिए भी ये उचित होगा. And otherwise also any self-respecting individual and who is part of that tribal society will definitely also contribute in the creation of wealth or creation of food or getting something for the entire family. So for 2 days you will be a guest, third day give him a ho. That is the Swahili saying there. So what I'm trying to say is that India mein, the way we nurture our plants, तुलसी की पूजा करते हैं, पीपल की पूजा करते हैं और त्याग पूर्वक उपभोग करते हैं. Nothing is yours. The Ishopanishad says we are just trustees. That trusteeship policy of Gandhi, philosophy of Gandhi, he gathered it from the Ishopanishad. And there it is said, सब कुछ ब्रह्म का है. जो कुछ ब्रह्म ने हमको दिया है वो उसका उपभोग करें, लेकिन उसका उपभोग कैसे करें, त्याग पूर्वक उपभोग करें. ब्रंटलैंड कमीशन क्या कहता है, ब्रंटलैंड कमीशन कहता है कि the present generation, when you use something, when you are utilizing something, the resources of nature, use it in such a way that you leave enough for the future generations to utilize during their times. Meaning, त्याग पूर्वक उपभोग करो, वरना तो you utilize everything. Individualistic concerns होते हुए भी, even the Brundtland Commission then realized that no, man is not the master of the universe and the master of nature. These are not tools and technologies for his usage. We are also part of nature. And since we are part of it, we have to learn to cohabit. We have to learn to respect and nurture each other. So whether it is the Ramayana and Mahabharata, the epics, whether it is Manusmriti, Arthashastra, Kautilya, Arthashastra or Shukraniti, or for that matter, the Brahman Sutras and all the ancient Indian literature, basic tenets of Indian philosophy is that anything which provides us sustenance to live, anything that enables us to live a healthy life, we all bow in obeisance to them. and we nurture them and we respect them. हमारा मजाक उड़ाया जाता था कि ये तो चंदा भी मामा होता है, हम कौटुंबिक रिश्ते निभाते हैं सबसे, चंदा मामा है, पृथ्वी माता है ना। तो हर एक से हम पारिवारिक संबंध जो निर्धारित करते हैं वो क्या है, हम उनके प्रति सद्भाव रखते हैं, उनके प्रति सम्मान रखते हैं, तो फिर हम उसको प्लंडर नहीं करेंगे, उसका एक्सप्लॉइटेशन नहीं करेंगे। जैसे वेस्टर्न फिलॉसफी में कहा गया था कि प्रकृति तो महिला के समान है, उसके जितने बांह मरोड़ोगे, द मोर यू ट्विस्ट हर आर्म द मोर सीक्रेट्स शी विल रिवील, उतना अधिक प्रदान करेगी। हमारे यहाँ ये नहीं है, हम धरती पे पांव रखने से पहले क्षमा याचना करते हैं कि हमको कुछ करने के लिए उस पर प्रणाम, आपके ऊपर पांव रखना पड़ रहा है। तो चाहे नदी नाले हो, पहाड़ पेड़ हो, पृथ्वी में कोई भी ऐसी सत्ता जो हमको जीवन यापन करने में किसी भी प्रकार से प्रत्यक्ष या परोक्ष रूप से सहयोग प्रदान करता है, उसके प्रति हम नतमस्तक ही नहीं होते, हम सम्मान ही नहीं करते, बल्कि उनका सृजन भी करते हैं, उनका संरक्षण भी करते हैं, और उनको पुष्पित पल्लवित होने के लिए उनके लिए जो कुछ कर सकते हैं वो करते हैं। तभी वो हमको भी प्रदान करते रहते हैं। देखिए, कौटिल्य ने और मनु ने बहुत अच्छे से कहा कि राजा कर भी ग्रहण करता है तो वो कर ऐसे रूप में ग्रहण करना चाहिए जिससे कि करदाता को कर देने में ऐसा नहीं कि उससे सारा छीन लो कि वो नष्ट ही हो जाए। तो जैसे गाय का बछड़ा गाय से दूध के स्तन से दूध लेता है, वो उतना ही लेता है जिससे कि गाय उसको पुनः दूध प्रदान करता रहे, है ना। You don't kill the duck which lays the golden goose, the golden egg. So this is what the ancient Indian philosophy is, very, very nature conscious, is very, very nature revering, and therefore we have a lot to contribute to the Western world and to our own world. The saddest part is, the ironical part of this whole thing is that we are forgetting our own culture. We are somehow considering that this culture of ours was very backdated, बहुत ही ज्यादा orthodox, बहुत outdated, and we can't blame them. 1950 में United Nations ने कहा था कि to develop, it is important that these ancient philosophies and these orthodox traditions, all that have to be done away with, no matter how painful it may be. And in the 80s, especially in the 90s, they came up again with the philosophy saying that no, some of the ancient philosophies, some of the customs, some of the traditions of different societies are very, very conducive for nurturing the nature and for maintaining environmental balance. Therefore, we should not scrap away with all that. We should not do away with all that. And India has a lot to contribute in that. India has always been giving us a philosophy. The ancient texts have always given us that wisdom that we should nurture those who help us to live and sustain our lives.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Actually, there are many questions, but time is not allowed to us. 2 घंटा निकल गया और मैम को हम लोग 4-6 घंटे भी सुनेंगे तो भी ऐसे लगेगा कि अभी और सुनना चाहिए। ये मेरा चौथी बार मेरा ये सौभाग्य है कि मैं मैम को सुन रहा हूँ। 2 बार तो हम लोग सेमिनार में मैम को सुना। एक बार RSVP के एनुअल कॉन्फ्रेंस बिलासपुर में, और एक बार मैंने अपने यूनिवर्सिटी में सुना, और ये एक बार मैंने अपने एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट में हमारे यहाँ एक वेबिनार हुआ, उसमें मैम थी, और ये सेकेंड टाइम। तो मैम को जब भी हम लोग सुनते हैं तो टाइम का पता नहीं चलता, और जो भी हम मैम के स्कॉलर्स से मिलते हैं, स्टूडेंट्स से मिलते हैं, तो हम लोग उनका जब फीडबैक लेते हैं तो वो लोग बताते हैं कि जब मैम का लेक्चर होता था, जब मैम पढ़ाती थी, क्लास लेते थे, खिड़कियों में बैठ करके कैसे स्टूडेंट्स क्लास लेते थे, और इसके बाद हाँ, तो स्कॉलर और स्टूडेंट्स। तो मैडम, हम सबका वास्तव में बहुत सौभाग्य है कि आप इस मंच पे अपना आशीर्वाद हमें प्रदान करने के लिए उपस्थित हुए हैं, और चूंकि समय अलाउ नहीं करता है, फिर मैम को हम सेपरेट कभी बुलाएंगे किसी टॉपिक पर, और मैम को हम लोग सुनेंगे. So once again, thanks to all the panelists who has given their time and given their wonderful critical evaluation on this book. And thanks to the Honourable Vice-Chancellor Saket Kushwaha sir. और उनसे इसी सेशन में मैडम की किताब के ही बुक के माध्यम से हम लोगों का जब बातचीत हुआ तो पता चला कि वो मेरे गांव के पास के ही हैं. एंड थैंक्स टू ऑनरेबल सत्यकाम सर एंड टांकेश्वर सर एंड ऑल दी आई थिंक सत्यकाम सर अभी ज्वाइन है. सो सर थैंक यू सो मच सर. लॉन्ग टाइम तक हमारे साथ आप जुड़े रहे सर. और आप सभी पैनलिस्ट का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. और सर मैं अगली बार प्रयागराज आऊँगा. प्रयागराज से ही मैं घर जाता हूँ तो आपके दर्शन करके ही मैं अपने घर जाऊँगा सर. सो once again, so with the due to permission of the honorable madam, सर मैम हम लोग सेशन इन कर सकते हैं.
यस यस, थैंक यू विकास. एंड सदा सुखी रहो और ऐसे ही आगे प्रगति करते रहो. तुम लोग इस हम लोगों के शिक्षा जगत के हम लोग वो पुराने पेड़ हो गए हैं. ये नए जो अभी सैपलिंग्स उभर रहे हैं ना, देख के इंस्पिरेशन होता है. गुड गुड, यू आर डूइंग अ गुड जॉब. गॉड ब्लेस यू.
थैंक यू. प्रणाम मैम. प्रणाम सर. प्रणाम.
नमस्ते सत्यकाम जी.
नमस्ते.